Does Elijah Mitchell got any juice left? And what's going on with Brashard Smith? This is a combo. I got both in here, but it's just the running back depth.
Being able to lean on a run game to go 8, 9, 10 yards a clip until they bring another dude down into the box because you just have a guy that can put his foot in the ground and get 8 or 9 on a single cut. That's what I'm looking for here. And that's not Pacheco. That's not Kareem Hunt. And frankly, probably not Elijah Mitchell at this point of the career, but I want to see if it is.
As he even 90% of what he once was with the 49ers, where he was really impressive and getting a lot of attention? Is he 75%? Is he at the Jerick McKinnon drop off? There's too many injuries where there's just nothing left. Like, I don't know where he is. Chiefs training camp is not a running camp, not a rushing camp. Yeah, they do some drills, but it's just not a rushing camp. And so I don't know what Elijah Mitchell has going on. And Brashard Smith has had some really nice reps as a receiver coming from camp. I will say that. I've seen some really nice routes and jobs of him as a receiver. I have seen him run the ball one time, maybe. I have not seen him in pass pro. I've heard there's been some one-on-one stuff, and I've seen a couple, read a couple people say he won this rep here, but for the by and large, it does not seem like he is ready as a pass protector yet, but I'm excited to see it. So I don't know what to do with these depth running backs. Who's going to look good? What does Mitchell have left in the tank? Where's Brashard Smith at in his continued transition from wide receiver to running back? And this is, I think, the first time to figure it out.
Yeah, and we can just go ahead and throw my number 3 up there, Tucker, because it is, can someone unexpected crack into the running back rotation? So exact same line of thinking here, Maddie. I have so many questions about this room. Frankly, most of them are hope questions to make me not look at this room and think that it's going to be terrible yet again. Yes, the success rate was great last year, really was great last year, but there's nothing there to give any defense worry that the Chiefs are going to line up and hit a home run with any play. And you kind of went ahead and put this in the KCSN Discord, Maddie. I saw some of the discourse there.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
It's not necessarily, Damian Williams breaking a 98-yard touchdown after having a 1.8 yard per carry day throughout the course of the day that all of a sudden boosted up. That's not what we're talking about here. Bust a 20-yard run. Like, let's see, like an actual explosive run, or on a 1st and 10, a routine 7 yards because the defense is stretched out and you've got guys that can block, real good, hefty offensive linemen that can move dudes. I know that seems very archaic, but you have to have a different ploy in a different strategy other than the ones the Chiefs have approached recently. You've got too many teams that are just sitting on everything, and they've tried to go over the top with this, but it's not been hugely successful. You still have teams that will come out and play too high, and the Chiefs feel bottled up all day long. Brashard Smith, we're all hopeful about. The question remains, can they have somebody that can make defenses at least give a modicum of respect to the Chiefs' run game? You're right. Pacheco is going to be RB1. Kareem Hunt is going to be RB2 for what he can do as a short yardage back. That's great. They need a guy like that. We saw what it looked like the year before when they didn't have a guy like that. It was brutal. Give me a guy with some juice that can mix in a little bit more, though. Give me a guy that can do a little bit more with what's blocked up than we've seen right now. It would be great if Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt could meld together and we could get the angry runs of Pacheco with the vision of Kareem Hunt, because that's what I'm asking for out of this running back room. Let's see. Maybe Elijah Mitchell has some of that. Maybe Brashard Smith can step in and add a little more juice, Maddie.
On paper, this Cardinals defensive front is one that you could find success running the ball against. If you were it's preseason, no one's going out of their way to run their best stuff. I want to be clear about that. But there is just some space here, I think, with this linebacker group and some of the bodies that they have up front, some of the guys that they've lost up front as well, that you might be able to find some space to run the ball. This is a pretty good little starting kick for that. And you mentioned it. I think we got to quit thinking of explosive runs always about 20 plus yards. Granted, that is how they're defined a lot of times, or even 15 plus yards. That's how they're defined as explosive runs. But when I think of a dynamic run or an explosive run or whatever, like sometimes it can be a 7, 10, 12-yard run that's just not, hey, everything here's blocked. Like you can just tell the pacing in the run and it's quick, and you get a running back that gets through the line of scrimmage at a rate that's better than the linebackers reacting to it. And that's what the Chiefs have not been able to do for years now. Even Pacheco, who is very fast and doesn't pace his runs particularly well, he still doesn't necessarily, because there isn't a lot of nuance to his movement behind the line of scrimmage, he doesn't set up linebackers. He doesn't set up alley runners. So it always feels like defenders are meeting the Chiefs running backs right where they want to, because the Chiefs runners are never getting to the spot before them, whether it's by, deception, by misdirection, or just by being more athletic. So I would be intrigued to see that. I'm checking our time to see if we're going to go 90 minutes again or not, but I got a little mini sidebar here now in the run game.
Let's do the mini sidebar. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think so. The Chiefs ran a lot of RPOs last year because they couldn't run the ball worth a damn. A lot of RPOs. Like the run game took a significant step backwards, even with Kareem Hunt, who I think is a better, more versatile runner than what Pacheco is. Their run game diversity took a huge step back last year. It was a lot of zone, a lot of just bland power counter stuff, which I like seeing better than zone, but it was just pretty straightforward, pretty predictable, and a lot of RPOs to kind of mask it. I would like to see some more diversity come back to this run game. I really would. And now that the Chiefs have to empty the clip in the preseason, although 3 years ago, I remember watching and they ran a bunch of duo and a bunch of power and counter in the preseason. And I was like, hey, that's noteworthy. This year came around. They didn't run any of it. But they started it in the preseason. So I do have my eyes out to see what they do with the run game. Today at training camp, they ran the goofiest. I think it is officially called counter extra play is what the official name is, but it's just running counter with 3 pullers. So Trey Smith pulled and 2 tight ends pulled. They blocked it terribly, and the play had to bounce backside because Nick Bolton was right there in the gap. But just even throwing that out there for the Chiefs, I was like, that's interesting. That's a lot of pullers on one play. And so, there's some clips that were sent to me by somebody of Wisconsin in the days running it, of course. The Panthers actually ran it a couple years back in the NFL from a full house formation. So they had a lead blocker from a fullback and then 2 pullers. So it's out there. It's just stuff like that piques my interest, because I think the Chiefs' lack of diverse run game also plays into the hands of him having, bad running backs, but non-explosive or dynamic runners at all.
So talk me through this, because I have not seen this play. Who are the pullers then?
Okay. Trey Smith is first on the pulling. And here's where I get okay. And then Travis Kelce is in motion right before the snap, and he would be second through the hole. Then Noah Gray comes in behind him. Noah Gray on the actual play gets lost in the wash and never makes it to the Nick Bolton, who's just standing in the hole. So Pacheco has to abandon the play. I can't tell if it was a power or a counter, because Trey Smith looks like he should be the kick out, but he stops and takes Mike Dana, the D end, who's squeezing down. And it almost looks like Kelce has to redirect on the fly. And now it kind of looks like power, and then still with the extra puller extra instead. So I don't know exactly if it was a power or counter because of the way the blocking went, but there were 3 pullers, and Noah Gray was supposed to show up somewhere. And I presume he was responsible for Nick Bolton or Mike Dana, and Trey Smith maybe got the wrong guy. I don't know, but there was 3 defenders, 3 pullers. They only got to 2 of them, but it's out there.
And so Gray was like an H-back in this scenario.
They were both tight ends. He was in line. He was in line. Kelce
like motioned. A YYG counter. Weird.
And so Kelce motions in, and the snap goes while he's in motion. Trey Smith is still first across. Then Kelce's Kelce's deeper because of he's off the line. And then that's why I said it looks like it makes more sense to me to be counter. It would be really hard to run this as power, where Kelce comes across the formation to kick out, and then you have Gray and Trey Smith both lead up through the hole, but from the same level. So it makes more sense for Kelce being back a level to lead up through the hole. This is great for an audio format for everybody.
I know. No. Sorry. This is just me and Maddie nerding out, because this is the type of stuff. Yeah. Go ahead.
But it's there. The concept is there. It intrigued me. I think I just wondered, maybe the defense just had the right call for it, and Dana squeezing down messed up all the timing up. But just Noah Gray gets lost in the play, whether it's his fault or not. I'm not saying it is, but he gets lost in the play, which allows Bolton to just be standing in the hole. Pacheco has to bounce backside, which, okay, fine. But just, the play very much intrigued me, and it sent me to Twitter to not only be like, hey, this is like a Lane Kiffin thing that I've seen Ole Miss do lately. What is this? And then I
Ooh,
had to ask around,
yeah.
and Nate Tice was like saying, hey, we used to run this a little bit at Wisconsin. Actually, I think the name is Counter Extra or Super Counter. And then he sent me a couple plays of it. I was like, okay, I see where we're getting this from. And so I think
Good old
that's
Nate.
what they were going for. I love a nice diverse run game. This is something I heard. I forget where I heard it in a podcast somewhere over the off season, but like you can have your staple run plays. And if you're not a good run team, you still have them. That's fine. But you got to have your big plays. You got to have essentially your play action plays of the run game, which are your goofy ones, your pin and pull, whatever it's going to be, your explosive run play. This is the one that kind of plays off your run game or pass game tendencies to get big plays. The Chiefs didn't have any of that last year. Zero. So bring the diversity back and hope you break a big one on a goofy-ish run play such as this.
Yeah, this is a thing that we talk about a lot with Andy in the passing game, the counter to the counter to the counter to the counter. You know, there's just like 7 different layers. That's why we talk about the first 15 all the time, and it's like sometimes you just get situations where it's like, well, that sucked. Andy didn't come with the good first 15 this week. And it's like, no, Andy found out the way that the defense was going to play that, and now they're going to bring this extra layer to that and this layer to that and all of that. So you get to see all the different machinations of it in the passing game. It's why it's been so startling that they have not adopted a more diverse run game yet. I wrote about it, what at this point, 4 years ago, when we first started seeing a little bit more gap scheme within, I believe it was Travis Kelce and the Bills game with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Would that have been Clyde's rookie year, I think? That was the first time that we saw them really lean into an entire game worth of running gap scheme stuff. And it was awesome because of that very reason that Maddie just brought up there. The Bills came in and went, Andy just runs zone. We just prep for zone. We have nothing. We're not doing this. And then they emptied the clip with every gap scheme run that they could possibly put on the field. Ran for like 200 and something yards against the Bills. It was great. It was awesome. You have to have those wrinkles. Otherwise, you get guys. We talk to defensive linemen all the time that say, yeah, no, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the way that the offensive lineman is leaning, the whites of their knuckles so that I can see the way that they're tilted, the exact splits between these guys. And I know this is going to be this kind of run, or this is going to be this kind of run. Line up, show that, do something crazy. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Like, that's the other part of it. Doesn't matter if it doesn't work. It's another thing that they have to pay attention to now. Next time the safety's trying to run the alley, he's thinking twice about, ooh, wait, where's that guy going now? Yeah, that little extra split second with a good run game makes all the difference in the world. And now all of a sudden you've got an explosive play. So, no, that's fun that they put something out there like that. Let's see if it actually makes it to the regular season. All right.
Yeah, because what I saw shouldn't make it to the regular season. But the idea was fun.